Hi everyone, welcome back to GameMaker Casts. In this video we're going to be starting a new series on how to create an idle clicker. You can download everything that you need from the description below, and you can also grab the finished product off of the itch website. Now in this video, I want to use it as an overview. I want to talk about the libraries that we will be using as well as some scripts. Once you download the project from the description below and you open it up, you should see the setup that we have in the asset browser. I have organized any plugins into a folder called libraries, and all of the scripts are going to exist in the script folder itself. As for the libraries that we will be using, we have two main ones. The Cooldown system can be found by browsing my channel as well as the Signal Bus. Both of these are free and open source. They give a huge advantage when creating a game by letting you handle events automatically and simplifying how to write cooldowns. Now, if we switch over to the scripts folder, we'll see that we have a number of different scripts inside. Some of these scripts are just being used to make our lives simpler, while others are actually being used to help out with our libraries. For instance, the create instance script is a simple script that helps us create instances without having to decide whether to use a layer or depth. We also have a get seconds script, which will return the value in frames for the number of seconds that is requested. The format number script allows us to place leading zeros before displaying the text, and finally the range lerp function allows us to just change the return value of a regular lerp function into a range that we specify. The last script that exists in this folder is the enumerator script. I like to use the script from to keep track of all the enumerators within my game. If you open up the script, you can see that we are using it for the signal bus. Instead of having to rely on strings, we can simply type in the enumerator and pass in which event we want to either emit or listen on. This cleans up the code and we no longer have to remember what strings we want to pass, and we simply just refer to the enumerator. Since this is an overview video, I'm only going to be touching on the two objects, which are the initialize game and initialize room. The object for initializing the game starts off by defining all of the global variables that we will be using. We're using global variables here because it gives us access to all of these values within any of our other objects. For instance, if we upgrade our click value, we could simply upgrade the global value, and in another object, we could get the current click value without having to find some sort of manager or look in an array. In this object, we are also defining a global variable for our signal bus. This is exactly like we had in a previous video on the channel, and this just gives us access to emit and listen to events on a global scale. I have also left in a comment to load up any user preferences, as this is just a generic thing that I like to do. However, for this particular game, we don't have any user preferences, so I have left it blank. As you can see, the very last thing that happens is this object will send us to the room game, which is where the game actually starts up. So with that object, let's look at the initialize room object. Now I know there isn't a lot in here, but it's a design pattern that I wanted to talk about. I like to use this object or objects like this, where I can easily create a room and place this object in the room, and it will generate everything that is needed to start the game. So this means if you are creating a test room and you need certain objects in your game, like the player or a cursor or even some sort of UI layer, you could easily have an initialize object that would do everything for you, and that would remove the possibility of you forgetting what to add into your room, which then could cause errors. With those two objects talked about, let's quickly switch over to the rooms. The first room that always loads up is just like the objects. It is an initialization room. The main purpose of this room is to set up any window sizes and also have the initialization object for the game to run. This in turn sets up the variables we need for our game. The next room that I'm going to be opening is the game room. This one is a little bit different as we have a few more objects than just the initialization object. I wanted to use the UI layers in this game, but the hassle of trying to make them work properly was just too much. They were just recently released, and because of that, there's not a lot of information on them, and that's why you'll see that I also have some UI objects sitting within this window. Now these objects don't actually do anything right now, but they are set up so that they would stay in place when you run the game and act as the user interface. Is this the best way to do things? Absolutely not. But sometimes when you're developing your game, if you want to get things out the door and even into the hands of a player so that they can start playing around with your game, you can get away with these kinds of tricks and not really have to worry about things until you can come up with a better solution. There are going to be things that I'm not going to be adding. These things will be sounds and what is called juice. In the end, what I want to give you is a solid base where you can learn a few things and possibly take what we have built and turn it into something that you like. And with that, I want to end this quick overview. The next videos that are going to come out for this series will be much more in depth and guide you along the way on how to access and use each of these libraries to create the game you see in front of you. I also want to thank you for watching this video. I know I didn't talk about programming in it, but I promise you that is coming soon. But at this time, I want to thank my Patreon supporters in no particular order. Thank you to Clay, Sapi Kai, Midnight, Review the Future, The Shib Realm, Salafio, Sean, Micah, Matthew, GameMaker Community, Jujubee84, Victor, and Thomas. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.